Mike Moore Media, the first place to hear Rockingham County news and information.
On the line is George Murphy, Wentworth Town Administrator. Hey, George, how you doing?
Doing well, Mike, and yourself?
Doing well here, too. Well, let's catch up on some things. Our monthly visit since we were last together. How are things around our county seat?
Well, we're staying busy and hopefully out of trouble. But
Okay, good luck with that.
A good combination, so we hope.
Yeah.
I laugh about it. With the construction of the park, the DEQ, Department of Environmental Quality, has, of course, they monitor what's taking place, especially with runoff and that kind of thing. And they have a form, and I, as the representative for the town, had to sign it. And I was informed by the architect that DEQ affectionately refers to it as the designated JLE form.
Oh, boy.
DEQ came in and did an inspection. They didn't really notice any violations per se, but they found in some of the drains that there was some vegetation, weeds in other words, growing in and around some of those, and they cited that. And I contacted the site superintendent and told him I wasn't going to jail for him over weeds. So I'm hoping that I'm not going to be in any trouble here.
Well,
but anyway.
unless there's some major infractions, ladies and gentlemen, this could be our last report with George. But hopefully things will go smoothly.
Otherwise, I'll be talking to you on the lam in the future.
Oh, wouldn't that be good to have a report right from the pokey?
No, it would not.
Okay, you're right. All right, well,
anyway,
forget that.
We do have, of course, our August, town council meeting scheduled for Tuesday, August the 4th. And I still believe that this is going to be a virtual meeting using Zoom.
Okay.
People can go to the town hall's website, which is www.townofwentworth.com, and find links and information to be able to log on to those meetings. And it's been kind of interesting. We've had fairly decent attendance. Roy Sawyers is live streaming those as well, and people are on there, and on his Facebook page, people can make comments during that time frame. I know that my son and his wife actually watched it live the last time I think we had a meeting, and so that my granddaughter could look up and see there was Ohm.
Yeah. All right, good. That's good.
Yes, but there were people that were making comments and stuff and following along, and of course there's the ability either through email or the Facebook Live for folks to be able to insert comments into the meeting at the appropriate time with that, so that we can still have participatory government here. So
sure.
That's a good thing. So,
yes.
yeah.
Okay.
But I think we will be probably using Zoom again for the August 4th meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get through it one more time at least.
Well, and it's working.
Good.
We did. We had to have a total of 3 meetings in the month of June, as we talked about last time, and of course getting the budget ready and all of the different hearings and stuff with that. So the meetings have worked very well, and quite frankly, Zoom's been kind of a valuable tool in a lot of ways.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I know you say you have some construction taking place there at your home, and of course we've got the park moving along very well. The original plan on the park was that it would be completed by the end of August. And, of course, weather issues can have an effect on construction schedule. Supply issues can have an effect on a construction schedule. Anyone who's driving by the park can see that things are moving along very well. The concrete for the picnic shelter, the restroom, and the stage area have been poured, and we're getting also setting up a dumpster pad there for to be able to handle the trash that will generate in the park. And the restroom area, the block walls are up and have been given a good coating. They don't have the brick facade on them yet, but there's that you can see that kind of stuff because that's up close to the road. The stage is downhill below it, probably not as evident, but a lot of the materials are there. We're still thinking with most of the construction portion of it that things are going to be on schedule. The one area, and this is a go figure, with the playground, is that the company, Miracle, I think is the name of the company, and they have had some issues at their plant with COVID-19, and so it looks like the playground installation may be delayed until maybe early September. And again, with the way things are going, I don't know if we'll have the playground open once we get it there, and of course we're going to have to get instructions on how to sanitize and clean and maintain once it's there. So
sure.
This has been an entertaining aspect, I think, of the construction that we had nowhere near anticipated when we first started this back last year.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Okay.
Also, we've been looking at camera systems for the park. The plans call for 10 locations to install cameras. And I think that that's a real important addition to have there. Not so much that we want to be a great part of the surveillance society, but I think back to the Chinkapin Trail. The folks there and the town has supported them in a lot of their ventures. But the folks there, volunteers, have worked really diligently at constructing a really good trail there. And sometime back, I think this may have been a couple of years ago, somebody went in there at night in a truck and drove over portions of the trail and damaged it.
I remember that, yeah.
And that's something that's just unconscionable to me. And I think having the cameras at the park will be a means of being able to monitor it. We're looking at the one system we are looking at present, is a fairly sophisticated system, and I'm not sure if we'll go with this company or another, but that's going to be some decision-making that council will have to tie into shortly.
Okay, so 10 locations, you said, for the cameras.
And, of course, you can have multiple cameras in those sites, but and then cameras aren't cheap, and especially if you get good quality, but it can be a really valuable source there.
Oh, it certainly can.
And in discussing that, we contract with the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office for our law enforcement services, and I've included Sheriff Page in on a couple of the conversations, one with a vendor and one with the construction meeting that we had, so that we're getting a good variety of folks involved. And when we did the Zoom meeting just this week with one of the vendors, and they were showing what that could do, we had a couple of council members involved and our finance officer involved and a representative from the sheriff's office and the architect, and tried to have the IT company that we coordinate with as well, but they came over yesterday and we took a look at the plans. And so we want, while we're putting the infrastructure in and the conduit and the buried cables and all that kind of stuff, we want to have things in place so that it will facilitate a smooth transition in addition to those services.
Okay.
And same holds true. We still have not resolved the connection to the Rockingham County sanitary sewer system. My understanding is we're supposed to have the figures that we need for alternate 2 and alternate 3, so that we can make a decision on how to proceed with that connection. And hopefully, we'll get that. There is the possibility, because we are, time, you want to make sure that you run it, and then I'm going to have to run this by the mayor once we get those figures. We could conceivably have a called meeting to discuss that matter. If we did that, it would have to be sometime next week. But since we're so close to the August 4th date, and the decision we may not get the information as soon as we need it, and so we may have to just simply deal with it on the August date. We're not, and our backs aren't up against the wall, but you have to be somewhat time sensitive with this if you want to push the project along and make sure things get done as they should.
Yeah, just some unexpected things, as you've explained to us before.
Yeah, construction's that way, apparently.
Yeah. Okay. All right, but it's good to know that the park, for the most part, as you said, on schedule from that original completion at the end of August.
We're hoping, yes,
Yeah.
and I think we'll be there.
Okay, very good. Now, will you plan, we're getting into the fall season then, are you planning, and we've still got the pandemic to deal with, are you thinking of some kind of, for lack of a better term, grand opening?
Or ribbon cutting.
Or maybe wait till next spring?
And I think what's going to have an effect on that is going to be the issues with COVID-19.
Mm-hmm, sure.
We had originally planned to have a groundbreaking, and that wound up being our first virtual meeting. So we did not, I don't think we found a way to do a virtual groundbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
And so that fell through. And I know that council usually would love to have something like that because it's a way of introducing that new area to the public. And public interest in this, both in and out of Wentworth, has been rather fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good.
So I'm hoping, I think at some point in time there will be some form of a ceremony or a ribbon cutting, but I just don't know how soon.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it's just necessary to take precautions. I mean, these are different times right now for us.
That's right, for all of us. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that's still good news there about the park, Wentworth Park. Anything else we need to talk about at this time?
I know that when you get into issues with ordinances and the way that you do business, one of the areas that's come to light, we have an individual or a group of individuals that have been talking with the county government about possibly leasing an area for establishing an event center. It'd be the kind of thing where you could do, my understanding, weddings, receptions, those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, of course, COVID-19's made that kind of interesting for folks, too. But we've realized that we do not have in our ordinances any way of classifying a place for an event center. So that's going to be something that we're going to be working on. We do have an ordinance that deals with special events and parades. We put that into place a couple of years ago, and that has, at present, been working well for us. And it's possible that if the stuff goes through initially, they'll have to be special event type of deals, but we'll work with, the town contracts with the Rockingham County Department of Planning, Zoning, and Central Permitting, and that's going to be an area that we're working on. So this is all pretty tentative right now. I think the movement on trying to get something into the ordinance is definitive, and we'll have to see how this unfolds, but that could be an interesting business addition here in Wentworth.
Yeah. Are you looking at that connected to the park or somewhere there?
No.
No. Okay.
It has. This would have association with property owned by Rockingham County.
I got you. All right. You did say that.
And,
yeah. Okay.
of course, people confuse us all the time. So and we are pretty well, I mean, since we do contract with them for certain services, there's good reason for that at times.
Well, and, it's understandable, I guess, there's nothing in the ordinance because, that's just in recent years, event venues have really seemed to flourish.
Yes, and I know that Sissy and I have two sons, both of whom got married, and trying to find venues when they did that for, say, the rehearsal dinner was fun, but it was also a little bit of work in trying to get that together. So, yeah, I think that would be something that would be a really nice addition around here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll keep posted on that as that develops.
Yes. And beyond that, I mean, there's always little things percolating hither, there, and yon, but we're moving along.
Okay. All right. Well, George, always a delight to talk to you. Thank you for your time.
And Mike, it's always good to talk with you as well. Thank you.
We'll talk again next month. Thanks. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
George Murphy, Wentworth Town Administrator. Get more information there on the website, townofwentworth.com.